This video is going to be all about the foundational steps that you need to take if you're going to launch a brand, an apparel lifestyle brand, or if you want to upgrade your brand and take it to the next level. Because this video is something that I was looking for, really, that kind of outlined some of these steps that I needed to take for my upcoming launch. But I didn't really find as much detail here as I was looking for. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna actually make this video myself because I'm gonna do this. And if I'm gonna do this, I might as well share this experience. So this video is going to be about what I'm doing to relaunch a brand, to relaunch my brand, Live a Great Story, that I've been running for 10 years. I've done a lot of different things in this decade, but I wanted to kind of take a step back, focus on a really big one for the 10-year anniversary that would lay the foundation for the next 10 years. So I run this brand, Live a Great Story. About a decade ago, I spray painted this phrase on a wall after adventuring all around Europe on a big trip, meeting people from all around the world. And I was just really excited about my journey and my story. So I spray painted Live a Great Story on a wall. People started taking photos of it, and it started sharing through social media and spreading and spreading and spreading. And over the last decade, this movement has spread all around the world. There's been tons of really cool stuff that happened, and it's just been an awesome ride. But now I'm like, what does it take to move forward, and how do I do that? So what I realized is that I needed to take a step back and have more of a strategic plan for relaunching this brand identity and the brand, and just kind of honing it in, and to decide really who it's for, what are the colors, what's the values, things like this. Now, I didn't really know how to do this, so I went to Upwork, and surprisingly, I've never actually done a lot of this on Upwork. I always went to friends of friends and say, who knows a strategic business developer, who knows a branding person, who knows a marketer, who knows all these people, and went through my network. But honestly, I highly recommend not doing that. Do not go to your friends, do not go to your city, do not get outside of your network to find people who are totally foreign, totally disconnected from your brand, because then you're going to get really authentic feedback and really high quality work. Side note, I paid somebody recently who was a friend of a friend to do some SEO work for me because I was looking for some SEO work, and I paid someone because they came very highly referred from a friend. Turns out that person was absolutely garbage. They fully ghosted me for like the last month or so. I've been trying to get back my deposit for SEO work. So they haven't paid me. They haven't paid me back. They haven't done any work. It was a nightmare. This is an example of something that would never happen if you went to Upwork and you found someone online. They will never ghost you. They'll do the best work. And this was a very clear example of going outside of your network. And so for this, I took a step back and I went and just put up a job listing for, brand development, brand identity, brand strategy. And this was a very cool move. I highly recommend this for anybody, because what this did was it really opened up this learning loop where I was able to interview a bunch of brand people, a bunch of designers, a bunch of strategist. And what this did was helped me understand what I needed to do. So I had this question of what do I need to do? I kind of started from zero. It's like, if I don't know what to do, where do I start? And I started with brand strategy. And what this did was it helped me understand kind of all of the moving pieces. So I went on Upwork, hired a brand strategist. I'm like, oh, interesting. There's brand strategy and there's brand design. So I thought this was gonna be one person. I interviewed a bunch of people. They offered both brand strategy, both brand design, and I said, maybe I can separate it. And through this, I figured out that there's also depths of these things. And a lot of people wanted me to do these 10 hours of calls to take my ideas and help develop them together. But I really wanted fully outside perspective here. So instead of going on a brand strategy role where we're having all these meetings and we're talking about our customers and all this really deep stuff from my brain, I was like, no, let me just hire someone and offload this. And I ended up working with an amazing woman. We had a meeting and she went and ran with it. And 2 weeks later came back with a brand strategy deck that was 100 pages long. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. Now, that had some pieces of brand identity involved. Obviously, I've been doing this for 10 years. So there's a lot of identity that's already in place, and I decided that I'm actually not going to hire a very specific brand identity person here. So there's strategy and identity. But through this, what I realized is that there's another thing that I wasn't necessarily thinking about, which is product identity. So there's brand identity and product identity. And I decided that, okay, I need to actually develop a product identity rather than just printing our logo on blank pieces. I wanted to develop more of a robust product offering for this launch that was more focused on our target demographic that came out of the brand strategy. So the brand strategy came back with, this is who you're serving. And I said, okay, if this is our audience, how do we serve them with the products that meet them where they're at and take them to the next step? And I realized that to do that, I really need a product identity. And so I went to hire product developers, like apparel and lifestyle design product designers, which was really cool. Now, as this is all coming in the background, I know that I needed to have my finances really dialed in, because I needed to have financial projections to say, okay, if this is like a 3-month campaign to relaunch the website and to relaunch the brand with a full new product line, then that's also going to spill over into Q3 and Q4. How does this all work out financially? You got to have your numbers fully dialed in to make plans like this, because you're spending thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to launch something like this. You can't just be shooting from the hip and like estimating stuff. You really need the financial plan. So this is where to a financial, like a financial optimizer, let's say, or like a financial planner, not a CFO, but a finance person who could help me figure out this formula. If this is how much we're spending, this is how much we need to sell, if this is how many products we need to order, stuff like that. Now, finance gets really tricky. And even when you're just running a business out of a shed like this, there's definitely a lot of levels to the finances, but I highly suggest dealing with someone to make that financial plan, because the worst thing that can happen is you get left with a ton of inventory, or you're spending way more than you think you need to spend. And it just, you don't want to be left in a financial hole. So that started with strategy, that led into brand and product identity, and then that led into finance, which now led into product design. So I'm now in this like product design phase of, once again, going outside of myself. If you want to design your own shirts, and that's great, and I'm sure if you're getting into wanting to start a clothing brand, you're probably creative and you have these ideas. But unless you're really talented at that, you're not going to be able to really launch all of this to the level that you want to. Of course, printing on blanks with a cool design and a cool phrase is really great. But if you want to elevate that into the next level, there's ways to do it. There's Pietra, there's Alibaba, there's some of these other things. But I wanted to really design a full collection line that can stand on its own and really be our product identity. So Live a Great Story creates really amazing adventure gear for young outdoors travelers, but also can be worn in day-to-day life because it's trendy, the silhouettes are great, the styles are awesome, it's recycled, it's sustainable, things like this. You can't just find that on a website and put it on your logo on it. You really need to have a comprehensive brand strategy, which is product strategy, because this is something I didn't know. Like, I didn't think about this, and even though I've printed thousands and thousands and thousands of things, I wanted to, take it to the new level, and I realized that I actually need to hire someone for this. So strategy, finance, design, products, and then this kind of puts us into this next phase of marketing. So these are all things that I'm actively going through right now. This is kind of an overview of this, but I'm probably going to go into more detail about this as this is all happening, and definitely on TikTok. So if you're into brand design, building your company, taking it to the next level, definitely subscribe, because the next probably 3 months of videos on this channel will be all about this. Maybe some travel, maybe some adventure, maybe some lifestyle stuff. I think that most likely this channel is going to evolve into launching this strategy, because I'm honestly doing some really high-tech, very sophisticated brand, product design, business development in all of this that is 10 years of knowledge really compacted into a 3-month sprint to launch a brand basically from scratch, doing everything as if I've never done this before. So it feels really cool to be going on this journey, feeling kind of like a newbie. I wanted to document it all for you to hopefully learn from this process. So subscribe, and then the next phase of this is really the marketing, because you need to figure out a way, if you're gonna launch something and you wanna do 6 figures, you need to figure out who you're launching to and to build that process. And so that's list building, it's Facebook ads, it's organic social, it's email marketing, it's your website marketing, it's SMS, it's a lot of this stuff that comes into place that you need to be thinking about for this launch that leads up to the launch. It's not like you're doing all of this behind the scenes and focusing on building all of this by yourself in a dark room, and then all of a sudden you launch and you sell a bunch of stuff. That's not how it works. It's about bringing people along on this journey, and so that you're getting people excited for this launch. So there's pre-launch, there's launch, and there's post-launch. And really for me, this is about a 3-month journey to pre-launch, and then we're gonna launch for about 2 months, and then we're gonna have a really big 10-year anniversary party, and then that's gonna lead into kind of a launch part 2, where we're gonna be able to like take this campaign and roll it into the fall, winter. So we're gonna do like a summer launch and a fall launch that will kind of lead into a lot of the more sophisticated marketing and all this stuff, like the part 2 of it, where we're going to be able to take this foundation and build on top of it. So this is what I'm doing. Hopefully this made sense. I wanted to kind of just outline what the behind the scenes looks like with going to Upwork. Most of the people I found for this, actually all of the people I'm working with here are from Upwork. I've interviewed and I've gone through about 60 candidates. I've interviewed probably 20 to 30 people for this project. And I definitely suggest that's the place that you should start, because that way you're going to be able to vet and talk to some really high level people. I mean, it's been amazing, some of the conversations I've had with marketers and creatives and strategists, and I'm talking to like C-level people, C-suite level people who have been doing this for 10 or 15 or 20 years. And I'm kind of gathering all these bits of information from everybody that I talked to formulate my plan, because I didn't really have a plan when I started, but now I have a plan, and it's continually evolving with each bit of information that I have gathered from the conversations with all these amazing people on Upwork. This should be a freaking Upwork ad, because honestly, I've used it for like low-level talent, like $5, $7, $10 an hour people. I'm looking at $50, $75, $150 an hour people through this, and Upwork is stacked with them. You can go find people who are very, very, very good, expert level at what they do, and you can potentially hire them. And if you don't hire them, then you can still have a really great conversation, and it can be mutually beneficial from all sides. So Upwork sponsorship video. I don't know how this is going to evolve, but it's definitely going to keep going. So this is part 1 of this series. Come back for part 2, where I'm going to kind of go deeper into each of these things and go hang out on social media, mainly on TikTok, I think, because that's where I'm going to be sharing kind of behind the scenes of all of this, and hopefully sharing as much as I can. There's enough room for everybody to grow here. I'm not trying to like sell you a course. In researching all of this stuff, everybody wants to sell you a course. Everybody's like, start a t-shirt business, you know, make $1 million. I'm like, that's all garbage, like, honestly, and they're just recycling a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. Don't want to do that. I kind of want to share some more in-depth things for free, just because I want to, and I've done it, and I'm doing it, and I think that's what it's about. So comment below, let me know what you think. Come back for the next video, and yeah, let's kick this off, because it's going to be an interesting and exciting ride to launch for our 10-year anniversary. Let's go. Like that.